Welcome to VARINDIA News Hour. World lost 11.2 crore jobs in the first quarter of 2022, says ILO. The COVID-19 crisis had already complicated global efforts to reduce famine and food insecurity, leading many governments around the world operating in a context of radical uncertainty, and the recent challenge has further intensified with the conflict in Ukraine. It has led to increasing prices of fertilizers and inaccessibility of Ukrainian exports that have made a delicate situation potentially dire as 800 million people now go hungry each night. The world of work is being buffeted by multiple crises, says the 9th edition of the International Labour Organization Monitor. About 11.2 crore jobs might have been lost between this period, according to the report. Several global crises are hampering labour market recovery, especially in developing countries. Driven by disruptions triggered by the conflict in Ukraine, the increase in food and energy prices is hurting poor households and small businesses, especially those operating in the informal economy, as per a new report from the International Labour Organization. There is sky-high inflation, especially in food and energy prices. Disruptions to global supply chains, heightened financial stress, and monetary policy tightening are likely to further deteriorate labour markets around the world. Further, the recent containment measures implemented in China account for 86% of the global decline in hours worked in the first quarter of 2022. Globally, the level of hours worked is expected to drop further in the second quarter of 2022, an evolution that is mainly driven by China's continued lockdown measures and will be exacerbated by developments related to the war in Ukraine. The great divergence between richer and poorer economies continues to characterize the labour market recovery in 2022. In contrast, the gender gap in low and middle income countries remains larger than the pre-pandemic level despite some progress. Both India and lower middle income countries, excluding India, experienced a deterioration of the gender gap in hours in the second quarter of 2020. However, because the initial level of hours worked by women in India was very low, the reduction in hours worked by women in India has only a weak influence on the aggregate for lower middle income countries. In contrast, the reduction in hours worked by men in India has a large impact on the aggregates. In India, startups have also resorted to shutting down non-core verticals, rationalizing marketing and advertising spends, and have gone on a hiring freeze as they enter a bleak period after a blockbuster funding party that lasted for nearly 2 years. As per the records, startups have fired over 5,000 employees so far this year. It has led to intense competition between private equity and venture capital firms over the last 2 years, thanks to the abundant liquidity in the system and rapid adoption of technology, which led them to deploy billions in tech startups. Let's look into today's headlines in VARINDIA. 73 startups attend MeitY's virtual session to strategize Digital India BHASHINI. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology held a virtual brainstorming session to shape strategy for the country's AI-led language translation platform, Digital India Bhasha Interface for India, attended by representatives from 73 startups. The Digital India BHASHINI initiative aims to create the next generation of government websites that will enable users to access them in their language of choice, ensuring that the citizens consume the internet and digital government services in their own languages. BSNL to migrate 30,000 Wi-Fi hotspots to PM-WANI. State-owned Bharat Sanchar Nigam will migrate 30,000 of its Wi-Fi hotspots to the PM-WANI framework by June. In December 2020, the government approved the setting up of public Wi-Fi networks and access points by local kirana and neighborhood shops through public data offices that will not involve any license, fee or registration. Moreover, Railways has also stated that all its future hotspots would be under the PM-WANI framework. NHA launches upgraded ABHA mobile app to manage health records. The government has launched a revamped Ayushman Bharat Health Account mobile application under its flagship scheme of Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. The updated version of the ABHA app has new user interface and added functionalities that enable individuals to access their health records anytime and anywhere. The ABHA app was previously known as NDHM Health Records app and is now available for download from the Google Play Store, already having over 4 lakh downloads. Existing ABHA app users can also update their previous app versions to the latest one. SpiceJet Airlines faces ransomware attack impacting its morning flight departures. Hundreds of SpiceJet Airlines passengers were struck at various airports due to a ransomware attack that impacted today's morning flight departures. In 2020 as well, SpiceJet was reportedly affected by a security flaw that exposed private details of more than 1.2 million passengers, including flight information. The breach was by a security researcher who gained access to one of SpiceJet's systems by brute forcing an easily guessable password. The system contained an unencrypted backup file with private details of over 1.2 million passengers, including details such as name, phone number, email address, date of birth, and flight information. FanTiger raises $5.5 million to empower independent artists. Artist First Technology Incorporations, which runs music NFT marketplace FanTiger, has raised $5.5 million in a seed round led by Multicoin Capital. The company said that it plans to use the funds raised to grow its team across product, tech, extend industry partnerships, and onboard major artists. FanTiger empowers independent artists to build fan communities on the platform and enable fans to play a role in helping shape their career by buying music NFTs. These music NFTs give the fans a chance to be part of an exclusive community with the artist and get special privileges and earn rewards. That's all for now. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to VARINDIA News Magazine. You can download the VARINDIA app from Google Play Store and Apple App Store for the latest news and updates. Stay tuned. Thank you.